Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Live at 4 on this Thursday. After a one-day respite,
summer is back.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to cool down a little bit for this weekend.
Yep, nice outside today.
Get the weather coming up in just a minute. But first, here's what's making news on this Thursday. It was 1 year ago today that an explosion rocked the Didion milling plant in Cambria. We'll have a live report on how that community is faring on this first anniversary.
There is another crash on the interstate in a construction zone involving multiple vehicles. And
the Trump tariffs are back on. We'll find out how anti-tariffs from other countries could affect Wisconsin's farms and businesses.
Let's take a look outside today. Plenty of sunshine. It's not officially summer yet, but it sure feels like it.
Yeah, it sure was. This is a scene from Bascom Hill today.
Isn't that a beautiful shot on campus?
Looking down State Street. Break from the humidity. That's the good words. Dave Caulfield is with us today in the backyard. We like that break in humidity.
Yeah, that break coming not a moment too soon, because even though we had the cooler temperatures yesterday, we had that high humidity with that tropical air mass in town. Things are getting better slowly but surely, but I definitely think as we head into tomorrow, the weather improving drastically as we head outside. But as we head into this evening, we do have a couple of pop-up showers and maybe a thunderstorm trying to form to our north and west. We'll keep an eye on that. No showers or storms to talk about across southern Wisconsin. In fact, we're just looking at some cumulus clouds in Platteville and our Queen Bee Radio Skycam. Temperatures are in the 80s for the most part. We're at 83 right now in Madison, 85 in Lone Rock, and 86 in Boscoville. Those dew points in the mid-60s, that's pretty sticky outside. Pretty muggy as well, and close to 70 in Platteville. That's an oofta down there, that's for sure. Heat index values in the mid-80s, close to 90 in some spots, especially a little bit further closer to Boscoville. Wind speeds not too bad out of the, I would say north right now, north and west at about, we'll call it 8 to 15 miles per hour. A live look in Madison at those puffy cumulus clouds. Some of those clouds could drop a couple of raindrops a little bit later on this evening, but those chances don't look all that great, folks. Nothing to worry about, and temperatures will be falling through the 70s as we head into this evening. Here is your first alert traffic update. As we mentioned at the top of the show, that accident on the interstate, we're looking right now at County Road S. You can see nothing moving in the northbound direction. This accident in between Beloit and Janesville, that entire northbound side is closed at the time being, so that's something to keep in mind on the commute home this evening. Expected to last at least another hour or so. As far as the Beltline goes, we are seeing those normal delays start to pile up from west to east. We could see a little bit closer to Seminole Highway on the eastbound side. We're starting to see some brake lights, and we're not looking too bad closer to Stoughton Road at the present time. Verona Road to John Nolan Drive, that's 7 minutes with an average speed of around 35 miles per hour. Some other routes, the Beltline to Janesville, because that accident south of Janesville, not looking too bad with an average speed of around 70 miles per hour. And that is your first alert traffic. We'll talk about more pleasant air entering the region in your first alert forecast.
We like pleasant.
Yes,
all
exactly.
Right, Dave, we'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. First at 4, the village of Cambria is remembering those who died 1 year ago in an explosion at Didion Milling. 5
people were killed and a dozen others were injured the night of May 31st, 2017. Our Rose Schmidt is live outside the mill to show us what's changed there. Rose.
That's right. Didion Milling is in the process of rebuilding that building that was destroyed in that explosion last year, and they say it's going to be state-of-the-art. Now, crosses have been placed in front of the mill to honor those victims who died in that explosion. 16 employees were working inside Didion Milling at the time of the explosion, which happened around 11 p.m. on May 31st, 2017. The family-owned mill is one of the largest employers in the area. A building was destroyed in the explosion and was later demolished. The village president says for the most part, things are back to normal in the area, but the victims' families are still hearing.
There's definitely both emotional and physical scars that people are dealing with yet, both the victims and the responders. I know some people are still struggling with the whole event in general. And so I think it's going to take a lot of time to heal those scars, if at all possible.
We talked to a woman this morning who lost her husband in that explosion. You'll hear from her on News 3 at 5 and learn how she's honoring him a year after his death. Didion Milling also released a statement this morning saying it's grateful for the support and the thoughts and the prayers during this time, and this incident will stay with all of them forever.
Rose Schmidt reporting live from Cambria. Rose, thank you.
As Dave mentioned earlier, there's yet another multi-vehicle crash on the interstate. This one just north of Beloit in the northbound lanes of I-3990. A DOT camera showed flames and black smoke coming from the scene. The crash happened around 2:45 this afternoon. An additional DOT camera south of the scene showed traffic at a standstill. The backup extended at least 3 miles and delays of at least a half an hour.
The U.S. and North Korea continue talks aimed at resurrecting a June 12th summit between President Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo says talks between the U.S. and North Korea have been good, but more work needs to be done before President Trump and Kim Jong-un can sit down for a summit. Pompeo had 2 days of meetings in New York with Kim Young-chol, a top advisor to North Korea's dictator.
The conditions are putting President Trump and Chairman Kim Jong-un in a place where we think there could be real progress made by the two of them meeting. It does no good if we're in a place where we don't think there's real opportunity to place them together. We've made real progress towards that in the last 72 hours.
President Trump also revealed that Kim Young-chol and the Korean delegation will be leaving New York and visiting Washington, D.C. tomorrow.
School safety is back in the spotlight as the president meets with family members of victims of the deadly Santa Fe, Texas high school shooting. At the same time, the president's Commission on School Safety visits an elementary school in Maryland. Mola Langi has more from the White House.
President Trump left a closed-door meeting in Houston Thursday where he offered his condolences to the families of victims of the Santa Fe high school shooting. 10 people were killed in the attack earlier this month. It is the 27th shooting at a school since Mr. Trump took office. At Wednesday's White House briefing, Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders got emotional when a 13-year-old student journalist representing Time for Kids asked Sanders what the administration is doing to improve school safety.
One thing that affects mine and other students' mental health is to worry about the fact that we or our friends could get shot at school. Specifically, can you tell me what the administration has done and will do to prevent these senseless tragedies?
I think that as a kid and certainly as a parent, there is nothing that could be more terrifying for a kid to go to school and not feel safe. So I'm sorry that you feel that way.
The President's Commission on School Safety also meets today. This is its third meeting since it was created in the wake of the Parkland shooting. Committee Chair, Education Secretary Betsy DeVos, and other members visited an elementary school in Maryland Thursday morning. After Parkland, the president said he would look into stricter background checks, raising the minimum age for buying assault weapons, and possibly arming teachers. But no action has been taken. DeVos says the commission wouldn't issue its final recommendations until the end of the year. Mola Langi, WISC News 3.
President Trump did sign a memorandum directing Attorney General Jeff Sessions to introduce regulations to ban so-called bump stocks, which were used in the Las Vegas massacre back in October.
The stock markets dropped 200 points today following an announcement from the Trump administration about tariffs. President Trump is ready to enforce a 25% tariff on imported steel and a 10% tariff on imported aluminum. He made the proposal back in March and granted a temporary exemption to several countries. But today, the exemption for Canada, Mexico, and the 28-nation European Union expires.
So did we just declare a trade war on some of our closest trading partners and allies?
No, not at all. As you know, this has been under discussion for quite a long time, and it's a very small percentage of the respective economies.
Let me be clear. These tariffs are totally unacceptable.
Canada is retaliating, announcing dollar-for-dollar tariffs on U.S. goods and services, including imported steel and aluminum, as well as items like coffee, yogurt, and maple syrup. Canada says it will join the European Union, taking the matter up with the World Trade Organization tomorrow. Farmers have been bracing themselves because of the retaliation against many major products exported from Wisconsin.
That includes import taxes on everything from Harley-Davidson motorcycles to ginseng, cranberries, and cheeses. Eric Franke's in the News Center with more on how it could hit Wisconsin producers pretty hard. Eric.
Now, Wisconsin could really feel the pinch of this, Mark and Susan. Consider Harley-Davidson. Not only will the costs to make motorcycles go up because of the tariffs on imported metals. They'll also face retaliatory tariffs possibly on their exported motorcycles. It could be devastating for the Wisconsin agriculture industry. Our state, the world's largest exporter of ginseng and cranberries, among the top exporters, obviously, of dairy as well. Pork, soybeans, all could face stiffer tariffs when exported out of Wisconsin, creating a lot of price uncertainty for farmers and eventually consumers.
Corn, dairy products, soybeans, ginseng, cranberries, all are potential targets for other countries to create tariffs on to make it more difficult for us to send them abroad. And each of those products are important to our economy, and so that's where our concern is.
And that aluminum tariff could impact the canning costs for processed vegetables. Wisconsin, a massive player in that industry. And one more place that'll hit Wisconsin, the beer industry, which today is condemning President Trump's decision to end the exemptions for our closest aluminum trading allies. Aluminum can costs will go up at places like SAB Miller, the Beer Institute in Washington, saying basically this is a $347 million tax on breweries. That cost will ultimately be passed on to consumers. Mark and Susan.
Story we will follow very closely. Eric Franke in the newsroom. Thanks, Eric.
You're welcome.
And that tariff threat was not received well on Wall Street. As we mentioned, the Dow Industrials fell almost 252 points. The NASDAQ Composite Index lost 20. The S&P 500 gave up 18.
The search continues in Tennessee for a man suspected of shooting and killing a deputy. They're looking for 31-year-old Stephen Wiggins. Sergeant Daniel Baker was killed Wednesday morning after responding to a call about a suspicious vehicle. He was found murdered inside his patrol car. Police say Wiggins has a lengthy criminal history. He was arrested just 2 days ago for domestic assault, and investigators say he was high on meth.
Anybody that is under the influence of drugs, especially meth, are going to be unpredictable, and they're going to do irrational things.
There was a procession this afternoon for the deputy killed in the line of duty. His casket was escorted home to Dixon from the medical examiner's office in Nashville. So far, there have been no credible sightings for the suspect, who is considered armed and dangerous.
Well, still to come at 4, the lava flow continues to spread in Hawaii.
We'll find out just how much and how many people's lives are being affected when Live at 4 continues. We'll be right back. Lava from Hawaii's Kilauea volcano is spreading now to new areas.
And scientists say the lava flow is getting hotter, more fluid, and faster, covering about 6 football fields an hour. Carter Evans has the latest.
As huge amounts of lava continue to spread, new aerial video shows how it's forming channels in the hardened rock. And it's moving fast, according to geologist Scott Rowland.
It's a self-made lava channel. The sides solidify, and then the part in the middle continues to flow. And those channels are very efficient.
The lava flows are unrelenting and unpredictable. To give you an idea of how close these eruptions are coming to people's homes, this is a fountain of lava that's probably 100 feet tall, and it's right up on someone's backyard. And the crisis continues. Lava has already overrun the main road, Highway 132, leaving people in about 500 homes and vacation rentals with just one escape route left. If the flows cross Highway 137, there would be no way out. Workers are now digging out more than a half-mile of old lava to create a new evacuation route if that happens. But it won't be done for days or weeks.
What happens if people get trapped in there by the lava? That's anybody's guess.
Hawaii Police Department spokesman Alan Richmond says backup plans are now in the works. Authorities want to avoid a situation like this. Newly released drone video shows workers searching for a man who had to be rescued Sunday from a fast-moving lava flow. Emergency officials say they now have 2 military helicopters on standby.
They can evacuate about 45 people at a time.
You're just trying to keep it from getting to that point.
Absolutely. We don't want that to happen.
The danger is real. The number of homes destroyed this week has jumped from 41 to more than 70. Authorities say it's natural for people to want to stay in their homes until the very last minute, but they also say for people in affected communities, that last minute is now. Carter Evans, CBS News, Pahoa.
It is frightening but spectacular.
It is, and when it's all over with, I think it's going to be amazing to see what the landscape looks like. It's going to be unrecognizable in a lot of areas.
The Earth reforming itself.
Yeah, exactly.
It's amazing.
Wow.
All right, moving on. It's almost the weekend in the 608.
That's right. It's Friday Eve, and Emmy Fink is here with a look at what's happening around town. Hi, Emmy.
Good to see you guys. It's close enough to the weekend, right?
Sure
yes,
is.
that's right.
In my book, it is.
Yeah, that's right. Don't come to school tomorrow.
In college, we all went out on Thursday nights.
Oh, of course. It was like the night to go out. Yeah, let's go out tonight.
He's going to go in somewhere. Good weekend for a road trip.
It is a good weekend for a road trip. So you can make a day or make a weekend of it because
we're going to start with classic cars.
Classic cars, we can do that too. So the Cars on State Street is the classic car show returning to Madison for the 12th year. Saturday, it goes on from 10 until 3. There's more than 100 classic cars and trucks that will be on display. If only we could drive them, wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah.
It goes all the way from State Street to the Capitol up to UW campus. So featured are a 1917 Model T, a 1940 Studebaker, which is one of my favorites, and then the 69 Dart Swinger. If you guys had your choice, which one would you drive away in?
What were the choices?
The Dart Swinger, the Studebaker, or the Model T?
I used to be a Dart Swinger myself, but that's another story.
That is
Is it Saturday and Sunday or just Saturday?
Just Saturday, 10 to 3.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, they can't take up that much real estate on State Street for too long.
Now we're going to Spring Green.
All right, I like that too. So it's a great time to take a road trip or make a weekend of it. You can map out your trip. It's the Spring Art Tour, a coordinated open house for art studios in Black Earth, Blue Mounds, Mazo, Mount Horeb, and Verona. So there's a total of 19 professional artists and craftspeople who want you to come visit their space. Pottery, jewelry, woodworking, sculpture, paintings. It's all put on by the Mount Horeb Area Arts Association, so you can actually go to their website. It's mhaaa.org. You can print out a map. How fun would that be?
Yeah, and Mount Horeb's fun just by itself.
Oh, all those little towns are. Stop for a beer or a glass of wine every,
There you go.
You want to do that too? Tonight?
It's Thursday
Saturday?
night. All right, the laughs continue this weekend.
Oh, it's been Madison Comedy Week all week, and it continues one final weekend. So plenty of shows Thursday through Saturday going on at the Atlas Improv Comedy Theater and then Broome Street Theater. Sunday is actually the closing ceremony. It takes place outside, hope for good weather, at the McPike park on Ingersoll downtown. So that's pretty cool. They're taking it outside.
Yeah, weather's supposed to be a lot better.
Hopefully not too hot.
How about a show at Overture this weekend?
All right, this is such a great show. I'm sure you guys have seen it, The Hunchback of Notre Dame. It comes to Overture Center this weekend. There's 20 songs, a cast of more than 50 people, and a 24-piece orchestra. It's all being put on by Capital City Theater, and it's the story everyone knows of Quasimodo, the deformed Paris bell ringer who is treated cruelly by all except Esmeralda, the beautiful gypsy who comes to his rescue. Friday and Saturday night shows, and then Sunday at 2. And Bruno, our favorite Michael Bruno, he's going to go backstage for the production of this one tomorrow, live at 4.
That's a big show.
It is a big show and a big man in that Quasimodo.
50 people on stage? Wow.
I know.
And how about a local festival to round out the weekend?
So this is really cool. I had no idea until I got sent the script, but you want to mark your calendar for Saturday from 10 until 7 for the Lake Park County Park. It's just south of Highway 12 in McFarland because it's the Trails and Parks Unite Festival. It includes a pontoon boat ride, disc golf, animal exhibits, nature walks, live music, food and beer. It's a great opportunity to check out why we're celebrating this, the new Lower Yahara River Trail, connecting Madison to McFarland. Get this, it's the longest inland boardwalk bridge in North America. It's 2.5 miles long. Isn't that unreal?
Really?
In North America.
Wow.
Right there in little McFarland. I think that's so cool.
Yeah, check that out.
I just got a brand new bike. My husband and our daughter, we're gonna go
I would take that
to that trail. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Feel the breeze off the water. Good stuff.
I know, I like it. You gonna meet me there too?
Yep.
Are we just gonna have a weekend?
You're bringing the beer.
Yeah.
That seems to be the theme.
I always have the beer.
All right, thanks, Andy.
Thanks,
See you
guys.
next week. Get this month's Madison Magazine for all the best in the Madison area.
There's more to come at 4 when we come back. A studio near Detroit is opening up the world of dance to people who could never experience it before.
The studio is blazing a trail for Paralympic dance in the United States. We'll have that story coming up after Dave's first alert forecast. Take a look at this. It was a tornado timeout for a Little League baseball game in Illinois. A local firefighter captured video of a swirling wind created by a dust devil during a game in Libertyville, that's just northwest of Chicago. It wasn't strong enough to chase players from the diamond or send fans running for cover. After a minute or so, the spinning cloud of dust dissipated and the game resumed. What would happen, Dave, if you walked into the middle of that?
Well, you'd probably be pelted with dust. It would be annoying.
But look at that.
You wouldn't get like swept away like Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz.
It looks like a tornado, though.
It is. It's a different process where it's formed at the ground instead of by a thunderstorm. It happens when really hot air is at the ground, and what happens is you get convection to form, and if that gets tilted upwards, you can see a dust devil.
It's pretty cool. That was great video.
Pretty cool. They didn't even move though. They were on phase.
They didn't seem to. Yeah, they didn't seem phased at all.
Good for those kids.
All right, it's Thursday, May 31st. It's National Macaroon Day. They're made of almond meal or paste, egg white, sugar. What else they made out of?
Coconut.
Coconut.
Coconut can replace the almond. Would you like one?
Yeah, and these are even better because these are dipped in chocolate.
The name comes from the Italian word for paste, macarone.
Yes, well done. And today is World Otter Day. This is what we need today, something to make us smile a little bit. World Otter Day was created in 2009. It's a day to raise awareness about threats to the otter's habitat, hunting, and the illegal fur trade, and pets, too. People try to get otters as pets?
Well, they're kind of cute, aren't they?
They are.
I love otters.
Take me to the otter slide.
All right, so honor your otter.
Yes, exactly.
Come and have a macaroon.
Well, I mean, it's great on a day like today when it's hot outside. Hopefully, you don't want it melting.
These are the coconut variety.
Oh, well, that's the way to go right there. We'll talk about some more pleasant weather for eating macaroons or whatever coming in for the weekend in your First Alert forecast. Good afternoon. I hope you're having a great Thursday so far. Another hot day out there today. And for the month of May, we can count them on one hand, folks, 5 days where our day shows up as blue on our departure from normal map, meaning our average temperature is below normal for this time of year. Everything else has been hot, and over the last week or so, very, very hot outside and humid as well. Here are our high temperatures for the month of May with kind of a half day to go in this month of May. 79 the temperature yesterday, but we were in the 90s for the 4 days before that. And actually, with that stretch of 90s happening so early in May, we can now get on the warmest May's list. We are at number 8 right now at 64.2 degrees, and that is with one high temperature to go, so we could actually climb up that a little bit. And our wettest Mays, I think we're going to stay put at number 2. 9.7 inches of rain. Just a very rainy month. Well, at least we started that way. Then we had a bit of a break, but we picked up right where we left off toward the end of this month. Downtown Madison, no rain to speak of right now, but still a little bit on the warm and humid side. Today's high 83 so far, nowhere near that record. Woo, of triple digits set back in 1934, so that's good news. Temperatures right now still in the 80s for many of us. 88 in Janesville, the warm spot right now. 85 in Lone Rock and 86 in Boscobel. Dew point still in the mid-60s. This is kind of sticky, steamy air that's in town, but things are actually getting better, folks. Look at our 24-hour dew point change, about 5 to 10 degrees less compared to this time yesterday when we had Alberto near us and that tropical air mass associated with that storm in town. So things are getting better, and even more pleasant air comes in with a cold front passing tomorrow morning. So that's good news. We are looking at maybe, just maybe, a pop-up shower or thunderstorm this evening, especially to our north and west. Right now, not seeing anything for southern Wisconsin. And we are seeing a couple of blips on Doppler track this evening, but nothing really that we need to worry about or concern ourselves with. Our time lapse in Madison, lots of sunshine this morning. Into the afternoon, we saw those fair weather cumulus clouds form, and they really have not let up. They're still here for some of us. Some of them could drop maybe a couple of rain showers this evening. Doesn't look like a distinct possibility, but something that we may need to keep an eye on. This weekend, a big one for lots of outdoor activities, including Verona hometown days. And I think Friday, that should say Friday, folks. Let's just go back in time one day on all of those days. We're looking at temperatures in the 70s, a chance of some showers and thunderstorms, especially into Saturday afternoon. Then as we head into Sunday, we will see those showers wrap up, and Sunday looking like a pretty nice day as well. So future track on our Midwest view showing this cold front coming through overnight. That will really make our air feel more crisp outside. Going to feel really nice. I don't think we have to worry about any rain until we get into Saturday, and that's when this low pressure system gets a little bit closer to us. An associated cold front will bring us some showers and thunderstorms as we head into Saturday night and Sunday morning. Tonight, evening thunderstorm possible, but not likely. Patchy fog coming in late with temperatures near 60. Tomorrow will be in the mid-70s, so closer to normal for this time of year. Again, we can't rule out a shower or thunderstorm tonight, but it doesn't look that likely. Clouds will be around in the morning. Then as we head into the tomorrow afternoon and evening, we're looking at temperatures dropping into the 50s, folks, as we head into Saturday morning for the first time in over a week. That's going to feel very, very nice outside. Your 7-day forecast showing some warmer temperatures on the way as we head into next week, and some chances for thunderstorms as well. But what we don't see is just as important as what we do see. I think I read that on a fortune cookie once. We're looking at no 90s on that 10-day forecast. So while we will get a little bit hotter as we head into next week, not by much. So I think that's heat that we can handle.
Oh, yeah.
Give the air conditioner a break for a few days.
Exactly. We get the humidity to finally go down tomorrow.
That makes a huge difference.
It's just awful.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks,
Good
Dave.
news.
Yes.
Thank you, Dave. Well, a dance studio near Detroit is getting ready to do something no other dance studio has ever done.
It's hosting the first organized American training for para-dance, ballroom dancing, for those with an impairment that affects their lower limbs. Mike Householder has more.
Nobody puts Cheryl in a corner. Cheryl Angelelli is a former Paralympic swimming champion who has become world-class in another sport.
I retired from swimming in 2014, and obviously it left this
huge void in my life, you know, competing and training, and was looking for something different, and that's how I kind of got into wheelchair ballroom dancing.
The 49-year-old and her partner, Tamerlan Godorov, last year won silver in an international competition for para dance, ballroom dancing for those with an impairment affecting the lower limbs, wowing the judges with their rendition of the famous "I've Had the Time of My Life" scene from the movie Dirty Dancing.
It is such an iconic American dance that people relate to, and they don't expect somebody in a wheelchair to do that.
Angelelli has been exceeding expectations for more than 3 decades, ever since she was paralyzed from the chest down in a diving accident. In addition to her athletic endeavors and day job in marketing, Angelelli teams with Fred Astaire Dance Studio near Detroit to offer free monthly classes for people with physical limitations.
Talk to Megan on your way out.
Now she and studio owner Evan Mountain are looking to make it possible for even more wheelchair users to take up the sport they love.
Now the Paralympic Committee and the Para Dance Sport Committee has contacted us, and they realized that in order for the United States to grow with wheelchair ballroom dancing, they needed to have trained instructors.
The studio in June will host the first organized U.S. training for para-dance instruction.
We have coaches that come here to Fred Astaire and dancers who've won all kinds of championships, and they try to dance with me, and they're just, it's totally foreign to them. They're like, wow, this is a lot harder than I thought. So having somebody who is specially trained and knows what they're doing is very, very important.
Beyond skill building, the goal is to spread awareness of a sport that is far more popular in Europe and Asia.
The more that we can get people trained here in the United States, I think it's really going to open up opportunities and possibilities for more people to get involved in the sport.
Until then, Angelelli will continue having the time of her life. Mike Householder, The Associated Press, Bloomfield Township, Michigan.
Pretty amazing.
That is such a great idea.
Yeah,
Maybe it'll come locally to the Fred Astaire
Fred
Dance
Astaire
Studio.
maybe spread across the country.
That's very inspiring.
Well, still to come at 4, we all know drunken driving is a huge problem in this country.
But alcohol isn't the only culprit when it comes to driving impaired.
A new report finds a dramatic rise in the number of deadly accidents involving drugs, including prescriptions. I'm Chris Martinez in Los Angeles with the steps police are taking to stop drivers under the influence.
Well, fatal drug-related crashes are outpacing deadly accidents involving alcohol.
A new report finds a significant jump in the percentage of drivers killed while on drugs. Chris Martinez reports.
Ron Edwards was riding his motorcycle in 2015 when a driver ran a red light and killed him. Police in Colorado say the driver of the car had marijuana in his system. Earlier this year, Ron's fiancée Barb talked about the crash.
I just don't want this to happen to somebody else.
There's an increase in deadly crashes involving drug use, according to a new report from the Governor's Highway Safety Association, or GHSA. In 2016, alcohol was involved in 38% of driver deaths, while 44% of drivers killed tested positive for drugs, a jump from just 28% in 2006. More than half of the drivers had marijuana, opioids, or a combination of the two in their system.
We definitely see states liberalizing marijuana laws. There are more prescriptions of drugs than ever before, and we're in the midst of an opioid crisis.
Russ Martin with the GHSA says identifying and testing a driver for drugs can be difficult. Police say a woman on sedatives and painkillers caused this deadly accident last year near Boston. The driver was reportedly an offender bender just 19 minutes prior, but the officer let her go because he didn't see any signs of impairment.
Right now, we don't have a nationally agreed upon way to test drivers for drug impairment, similar to a breathalyzer or a blood test for alcohol.
Many police departments are now training officers to better recognize drivers who are high, and several states are testing new devices like saliva swabs that can identify drugs in the system in an effort to prevent more deaths on the road. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
There are also education campaigns underway to teach the public about the dangers of driving on drugs, even prescription drugs.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be right back.
Good afternoon. Here is your first alert traffic update. We are still looking at that big backup on the interstate. We're looking right now live at the interstate I-3990 at County Road S. You can still see traffic basically at a standstill. That accident right near La Prairie, in between La Prairie and Turtle in Rock County, and that's south of Janesville but north of Beloit at the present time. Still a number of minutes to go in that accident down in Rock County. And we also have had some accidents pop up in the last couple of minutes on the Beltline. Average speeds of around 15 to 20 miles per hour. So that's something to watch out for over the next couple of minutes. Verona Road to John Nolan, that's 12 minutes right now with an average speed of around 20 miles per hour. And in the other direction, John Nolan to Verona Road, that's 7 minutes, an average speed of around 35 miles per hour. That is your first alert traffic.
All right, Dave, thank you. An 8-year-old Georgia boy's random act of kindness is going viral. Maurice Adams Jr. was with his mom when he saw an elderly woman struggling up some stairs. The boy jumped out of the car with mom's permission and helped the woman make the climb. Afterwards, the pair celebrated with a hug. The man who captured the video tracked the boy down and rewarded him with $100 for his act of kindness. As we say around here, doing something good.
Oh, that is so priceless.
It really is.
That's what it's all about.
Well, there's no doubt that participation in sports has a lot of value for kids.
But youth sports have become much more competitive than they've ever been. Intense training schedules and pressure to win and be the best can cause kids to burn out and get injured at an early age. Dave Knight is the Sports Performance Program Manager at UW Health at the American Center. Hi, Dave. We thought it'd be good to have you here with summer sports starting up.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So it is getting more competitive than ever before, and that's causing a lot of kids to want to specialize in sports.
Yeah.
Do you recommend that?
You know, youth sports are very competitive, and the challenge is it looks good from the outset to get kids involved really early and get them driven early, because their skills do improve. There's something we call the golden age of skill development, which is between the ages of 8 and 12. So those skills introduced then make them look really good. The problem is if we don't set a foundation of athleticism over time, those skills kind of plateau out and they can't continue to grow and get better. So the whole idea of getting kids involved really early, it looks good from the onset, but can be really challenging.
What's too early?
From a specialization standpoint, you know, it's hard to say. I mean, chronological age is a big part, so how old you are from your date of birth, but really we want to look at developmental age. And so what we try to do is hold kids back from specializing in certain sports until maybe after puberty or until their growth plates start to close, where they can handle the higher volumes and the higher stresses that are placed on them. So again, it depends on where they are developmentally.
What are some of the risks associated with just focusing on one thing and that's all you do at an early age?
Yeah, so obviously injury is a big risk, right? So if you're a golfer and all you do is swing the golf club that one direction, your body creates this asymmetry and builds this asymmetry that can lead to injuries. Burnout is another big risk when kids get put into a situation where potentially their mom or their dad are putting a lot of investment into them as an athlete. If they start to not succeed, they start to mentally not want to participate anymore, or just the idea of participating in a sport 12 months out of a year for a young kid, that's really daunting. And so burning out is a big problem.
So if you just do one sport over and over and over again, you're going to have problems down the road?
Potentially,
early on?
Even sooner than that, right? We have a lot of young kids now who are having these overuse injuries that we just didn't see until they were older. But now we're having 10, 11-year-olds having patellar tendon pain. You know, you hear a lot in the news about how we're seeing more ulnar collateral or Tommy John surgeries in younger kids from throwing too much in baseball. So it's happening a lot more frequently.
Is this a child issue or a parent issue?
Yeah, you know, I think it's a societal issue. You know, we're pushing kids to do more and be better than we were when we were kids. But the problem is that the tide has really changed. When we were kids, we played. We went out, we ran around, and we did everything, and we learned for ourselves. Well, now, unfortunately, kids aren't given that opportunity, so we're trying to use what we think is an adult approach on our children, and that's oftentimes not the best.
So do a couple of different things.
Yeah,
different sports.
Well, I was saying in the break, I saw an interview with Jordan Spieth's mother, the professional golfer, and she said all he ever wanted to do was golf. And she said, absolutely not. You're playing baseball, football, hockey, everything.
Well, I think that's the right approach.
That worked out okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
So your advice to parents would be?
You know, when they're young, let them sample. Let them play a lot of different sports. Don't worry about specializing in one sport early. Even if they show talent in that, that's probably even a better reason to get them involved in other things so that their body can round out as an athlete. And then allow them to foster that love of sports. That's really so important, that they have to have that intrinsic drive and love what they're doing in order to keep growing and keep getting better.
And are there resources at UW Health?
Yeah, so we have the sports performance program that I run is really founded in that idea of developing fundamental movement skills and building athletes from the ground up and really trying to have them develop the skills they can use for a lifetime.
Great advice. Yeah. Thanks for being with us today.
Happy summer. Good to see you.
We'll be right back with a final check of your forecast. Relief on the way.
It is on the way. Tonight, though, still a little bit humid at times, a chance of a pop-up shower or thunderstorm. We're seeing that to our north and west right now. Nothing too much to worry about as we head into tomorrow. We'll reach highs in the mid-70s. Crisp air, very nice air outside with lots of sunshine.
Open the windows.
That's going to be nice.
All right. Thank you, Dave. We'll be right back.